Today I'm going to show you how you can make a really good looking pair of heavy duty tweezers. Hi, I'm Dennis Frechette and welcome back. Today I'm going to be remaking one of the earliest videos I did when I started on YouTube, and it was on making a really nice heavy duty pair of tweezers. The original video was only a couple of minutes long. I mean, that's all you could do back then on YouTube, so there was a lot of fast forwarding. I skipped over a lot of details. There was some good information in that video, but there was a lot left out just because it didn't have any choice. But today I'm going to be redoing the project, going into a lot more detail, and hopefully it'll give you a better explanation of what's actually going on. So that's what I have for you today, and hope it'll help you out. I'm going to be making this pair of tweezers out of a length of spring steel that's 3/8 of an inch round and 12 inches long. The first thing that I need to do is to create two offsets that are going to define the length of each arm. I have the dividers set for 5 inches and 13/16, so that should leave me an unforged section that's roughly 3/8 of an inch right in the center of the bar. I obviously bumped the dividers when I set them up or something because this should have been half this size, but I'm not going to worry about that now. It is right in the center, and that's all I need for now. At the end of each bar, I'm going to be forging in an offset that's 2 inches from the end, and that's going to define the amount of material that I want to use to forge the working ends of the tweezers. When you're hand forging, it's important to maximize the amount of work you can do on a bar while it's hot. So I've got the one side heated up here. I'm going to continue roughing out the shape until it's about 80% of the way there, and then I'll switch over to the other side. Here I'm starting to work on the other end of the bar, and I'm going to follow exactly the same procedure so I get, hopefully, the same results. And once again, I'm just ignoring that center section in the middle of the bar that I need to correct later on. My main concern right now is to get the two halves of the tweezers to be as symmetrical as possible. So I'm going to be using my anvil ruler a lot to compare the measurement of the side that I'm working on with the finished side, and I'm going to be working up to that measurement very slowly. The last thing that I want to do is overshoot that mark, because that means I'm going to have to reheat the other side and make it a little thinner to try to match up the side that I just forged. You can get away with doing it once or twice, but if you keep bouncing back and forth trying to make the sides even, you're going to wind up with pieces that you're not going to be able to use, so you're going to have to start the whole thing over again. So this is another one of those situations where it really pays to slow down and work very systematically and methodically until you get to the mark that you're working towards. At this point, I have both halves of the tweezers as symmetrical as I can make them, so I'm ready to tackle that area in the center of the bar that I measured wrong at the beginning. I need to shorten this section by about half its length, but I still need it to be in the center, so I need to work both sides of this section equally so that the raised portion in the middle is in the middle of the tweezers, because this is where I'm going to be bending the tweezers in half. This short section is going to give me the material that I need to forge that flared detail that I want right at the end of the tweezers. If I tried to forge this detail by simply bending a flat bar in half and then flaring out the end of it, there's a pretty good chance that I would be making the end of the spring way too thin, and that would cause the spring to break because I would have a stress point right there at the end. Now, it is a little fussy to get these arms bent around without creating a sharp crease at the point where it meets the heavy section in the middle, but if you take your time, make sure that you're supporting the bar on curved edges and use a light hammer to just shift it into position. You'll get there. Here you can see how I'm using a pair of box tongs to hang on to the points of the tweezers. And now that I can keep the sides from moving around, the hammering that I'm doing on the end is a lot more effective. So here you see the bend that I just finished, and on the right you have a comparison between the one that I just finished and the way that I used to forge these tweezers. When I started forging these tweezers, I knew that I was going to need extra material for this detail, but I used to really overestimate how much material I was going to need, and you can see the problems that it caused. I have quite a bit more forging to do on this bar to get the end to flatten out, and it's curving. I have no way of correcting it without wrecking everything else. So I had the right idea, I was just heading in the wrong direction. So on the left, you see what I've done now, just a minimum amount that I need, and I have a nice straight bar. It'll upset very nicely, and I have a nice clean transition into the sides of the tweezers. At this point, the forging is done. I'm going to spend a bit of time at the grinder cleaning up all the edges and, making sure that everything lines up, basically just getting it ready for heat treating. I'm going to be quenching in canola oil, and you'll notice that I've only heated up the spring portions of the tweezers. The tips are perfectly fine just the way they are. If you're going to be doing some really rough work with these things, you can go ahead and heat treat the whole thing, but basically all you need is to heat treat the sections that are going to be flexing. Here's a look at the finished tweezers. I heat treated them in my kitchen oven, and in my oven, spring temper is 505 degrees Fahrenheit. That temper color is a very bright blue, but you can't see it on the tweezers because I did not want to grind the surface that was on the actual tweezers. So I put a test plate in the oven with some ground patches on it, and I use that as a reference for the color. So you can see that I'm at the temperature, but I still have that nice steel gray look to the tweezers.